Hey, it's Lazlo. Thanks for checking out the podcast. A lot of times we'll get emails or some sort of message on social media and say, hey, guys, how do we help? What can we do? How can we help with the ratings? How can we do these things? There's a lot of things we can and can't talk about. A lot of things we're supposed to know and we aren't supposed to tell you about, and you're not supposed to tell us about. That said, there is something I can tell you about that will help us. And look, I want you to listen to us however you want to listen to us. That's why we put the podcast on, I don't know how many different services we put it out on. But if you could listen to us on the radio.com app, that would certainly help us out. That's fair, right? And the app doesn't suck. It's actually a good app. So check it out if you can. And I think, will we tweet out a link or something if you need to figure it out? Thanks.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Ladies and gentlemen, the Church of Lazlo has begun.
Yo. How are you?
I've never been better in my entire life. How about yourself?
Great.
Good.
No problems.
Glad to hear it.
Huh?
It's Wednesday, right?
Yes, it is. Wednesday.
Big show tonight. The Growlers and Broncho are playing at
Oh,
Crossroads.
you're excited about that, right?
You want to come out? It's the rain delay.
Baseball practice.
Every night, it's sports with you.
Yeah.
Football, baseball, we literally have a whiteboard up.
So I remember where to go.
That just alternates football, baseball, football, baseball. One of them says game? Question mark?
Yeah, most people say what they're going to do on the show. I need to look at that whiteboard just to know where I'm supposed to be after it.
Right. Well,
hot out here for a divorced dad of two, man.
Yeah, you got it. They're going to notice any of those little slip-ups.
Boom,
if you're 5
I'm
minutes
on it.
late, boom.
Boom, I'm on it.
So this hurricane, well, I know we're not doing headlines, but
I thought it was over.
Yeah, I mean, it's slowly moving its way up. Something is Category 2, I don't know. But obviously, it had an impact on a lot of people's travel plans that were going to Florida.
Okay.
Now, we have a mutual friend, and I don't want to say any names.
I will.
Please don't.
Why?
Because what I'm going to say I don't want to embarrass this person.
All right, well, I won't say it now until I find out whether I find it embarrassing.
You may have seen this. I don't know how often you check their social media, whatever. I think that you follow one another. But this person planned a trip to go to Disney World before anyone knew that the hurricane was going to happen.
Of course,
right?
there's no reason why you would do it during it.
Right. But this person also decided as the hurricane started getting closer, not to move the tickets up and try and get out of there. Just say, you know what? It's not really going to affect Orlando, which is where they're going to be because they're going to Disney. So maybe this will just be a good time to see the park when there's not a ton of people there. Which I thought, that's not a bad idea. And I've been talking to this person. We've been friends for a long time. This person is also much more independent than I am. So I understand that plays a role in all of this. But this person went to meet family down there. Family has all gone home or whatever because of the weather and everything else. And because of the flight delays, this person is still in Disney. I think they were supposed to be home today or yesterday. But I've been following along with their, Instagram stories.
Sure.
And since the family's gone, they've just been going to the parks alone every day. And, not only are they alone, but it's cloudy and rainy because it's, there's a storm.
Sure.
It's not like the park is closed or anything. But I thought, I know we've talked a million times about how it's healthy to do things alone. You
can't do anything alone.
But no, hold on. You say that it's weird. You've said in the past that maybe, I know we were joking partially about the mom who said the millennials who come to the park without their kids, that, this is a place for kids. But there is something about, now, like Worlds of Fun, I'll go with friends. Obviously, I don't have kids. We go with friends. Lots of people do that. I don't think, it's not Disney World. It's an amusement park. But I do think if I'm there all alone, I get a little bummed out. I've never done it. I'm just trying to imagine, like, going to Worlds of Fun all by myself. And just because I love riding the rides and going to the park, but would I be bummed going by myself? Now, I also grew up going to that park. I feel a lot more comfortable there. going to Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land and Animal Kingdom and all that stuff alone, I think would really bum me out.
Why?
Because it's all these happy families and everything, and here I am, I'm 37, getting a drink and walking around.
Hold on a second. She's only there alone because of the storm.
That's true.
Her family left. She was there with her family at one point, so now she's at this place.
Yeah.
And her family would be there, but they were there last week, and now she can't get home on time, so she's going to enjoy herself.
She said she's loving being there by herself.
Yeah, and going and checking out everything.
I don't doubt it. I believe her. I know her pretty well. I believe her. But don't you get that left behind feeling also? Even like when you had to stay after school, you got in trouble and everyone else left and it's quiet and the lights are off in the hallway. I've always had a real problem with that, where that left behind feeling that everyone else is...
Abandonment issues.
Yeah. Everyone else is off. You're in the wrong place.
No, I do think it's kind of weird that her entire family left.
Right?
And just said, well, hope you get home. See you later.
Have fun. Well, she had like her hotel or whatever paid for.
No, I'm just saying, right.
And then I guess her family bought her some sort of like, multi-day passes for all the parks, whatever. And she hadn't even used them all yet. So she's like, I'll just keep going to the parks. So I see today, I was talking to her earlier. I was like, are you in Toy Story World right now? She's like, yeah, it's pretty sweet. I was like, so you're just still there? She's like, yeah, there's nobody here because of the weather, because of the flight, the flight's being canceled and stuff. Everyone was scared away. So the park's just pretty much empty. I have it to myself. And I see the army men stomping by and they're all talking to her, all the Disney employees, because there's not very many people down there. And she's just walking around having a drink, checking the place out. She's like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, well, I think that'd be great.
I don't think I could do that.
But you have a problem doing anything alone, really?
Well, I got better about... like in my 20s, I got a lot better. I like going to the movies alone. I'll go to eat alone. And people would make fun of me for going to eat alone. That's still a problem that a lot of people have an issue
have that
with.
problem.
I don't have a problem. Maybe at a fancy restaurant, but not going to like Village Inn or Perkins or Denny's or whatever. I don't have a problem going to get lunch by myself.
No. Dinner?
Yeah, no, or dinner, really, for that matter. When I was a kid, it probably
the easy one's breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast, a lot of people are there alone anyway, so...
Yeah.
But I was looking up stuff that it says you are the hardest things to do alone, and even things that you shouldn't do alone.
Okay.
And if you just Google that, mostly what you get is, here's stuff you should totally try and do alone because it's actually really awesome.
Okay, give it to me.
And it's like going to movies and parks and stuff. Okay, but what about the stuff that you shouldn't do? So one of these
lists... Do you do anything alone, Snow Cone?
I like going to movies alone.
Yeah, movies should be kind of a by yourself. It's not a social gathering.
Sometimes you go to the bar alone. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Is that...
Yeah, no, I used to go to the bar alone.
Depends on the bar.
I mean, it's not a lot. It's like a dive bar.
Or a sports bar, I can go and watch a game. That's easy.
And maybe you know someone who works there. I think going to the bar alone is... It depends on the situation, I suppose. But lots of people go to the bar alone to get a drink because you might run into someone maybe you know the bartender. Does that really even count as being alone?
Maybe you want to watch 6 sports. I mean, it's an easy out, too. Like, I'm watching this game.
They got all the games on.
Well, I visit Sunfest at the Bee every now and then. I go up there alone.
Yeah, but
but that's different.
That doesn't count. That's what I'm saying. If you know the bartenders and stuff, then I don't think it's the same.
But it doesn't count if you met them while you were there.
No.
If you go to the same bar every time and now people are like, hey, it doesn't mean like, oh, that's my buddy.
Right.
Just means you go there a lot.
So one of the things said you should never invite a blind date over to your house. Like, that's something you shouldn't do alone. Okay, that makes sense.
There's no way for me to do a blind
date over to your house. Like someone that you haven't met. So I guess if you just met someone on a dating app and you're saying,
I get what you're saying, but there's no way to do that alone.
Well, okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
You shouldn't.
There's no way to do that, right or wrong, alone.
Right. A date inherently.
A date,
right. It means 2 people.
Swimming in the ocean, like swimming in open water, you're not supposed to do alone.
I know, I get it.
Okay, I get that.
I
That's
do
a
it.
safety
I don't have any
issue,
problem doing
just
it.
like the date thing. That's a safety issue. But
I don't have any problem doing it. I love it. I mean, I love going with my boys. I take them to the ocean. Every summer we go somewhere. Mm-hmm. But if they're with their mom for Thanksgiving and I go visit my mom for Thanksgiving, I have no problem running downstairs and swimming in the ocean by myself. I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that's a safety thing. That's not really it feels so lonely.
You're cognizant of it.
Yeah, but I like being out there alone. It's
me
quiet
too.
and okay. I thought of another one: music festivals. Like going to a music festival on your own. And I know people do it. I don't think I could handle that. Like, you got to stay there for days. You're going out there every day by yourself. You don't have a single person to hang out with.
I went to Bonnaroo alone in 2006. But I had a friend that was going to go with me, and they backed out like the day before.
So did you make friends while you were there? Did you meet anyone?
Yeah. I camped with the people that I like sat up next to. Just got to know them and hung out with them pretty much every night. But there was a lot of times I was alone.
Yeah. I don't think I could do that.
Doesn't sound as fun.
It doesn't.
It was, but it was also my first festival, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. I mean, I had a good time, but now that I've gone with friends, it's definitely better with friends.
Lots of people have to go to weddings alone. You get invited to a wedding.
I don't know if I could handle myself at a festival or something like that. I feel like I just be like, oh, I'm bored. Let me drink more and take more drugs. It's so readily available. I don't know that I'd get home safe.
Yeah, there was one night that my neighbors, we had split a bunch of mushrooms, and then we were going to hang out all night, and they ended up like leaving, doing something else, and I was alone, just on mushrooms, watching Radiohead.
Ugh.
Also,
that's going to leave a mark.
Yeah.
Traveling or concerts, I kind of need someone else there to be the person who tells you, now is when we get up. Now is when we go get breakfast. I need someone else to motivate me to do that stuff. Otherwise, I just start feeling sorry for myself. But I thought of one, because I know you're saying that all this stuff can be done alone, and you don't think any of it's that weird. And again, my friend who's at Disney...
No, I think of all of them, the hardest one would be a music festival.
Okay. I thought of one that I think you would agree.
That you can't do alone?
That you shouldn't do alone as an adult. Especially, just as an adult. I don't think the gender matters. Going to a pumpkin patch alone. Like, just showing up to... I was trying to think of the most family...
Right.
That's depressing or it's
thing,
creepy.
Right?
Yeah.
If you just go there alone. Now, even if it's not creepy, let's pretend like it's not.
Then it's at least depressing.
It is. Then it's at least a little depressing. All the families are there. They're going to get the cider and the donuts and the pumpkins, and you're just there alone. Like, guess I'll go get my wheelbarrow now and go look for a... You can't do that alone, right?
I could drink a cider and have a donut and grab a pumpkin.
But, like a man on a mission. Like, I need to get a pumpkin, so I'm here. But
I would
just
sit at the picnic
yourself.
table and drink a cider and have a donut. Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
But you're looking at a guy who spent his 21st birthday alone.
Yeah.
I bought myself ravioli at an Italian restaurant. I mean, I did that alone. I did a lot of stuff alone. But I could easily go to a pumpkin patch. I mean, I don't know that I would make the plans to do it by myself. Maybe. But I could easily see myself, like, in the fall, driving past one and being like, oh, man, I should run in there. Cider, some of those donuts, and I'll grab a couple pumpkins for home. I could absolutely see myself doing that. But I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel. I don't like people that much. And even the people that I love and want to be around, I still need a ton of alone time.
Yeah. I like going to the store alone, go to the movies is fine, stuff like that. Just alone time throughout the day. But going like on a trip or going to an amusement park or something like that, I don't think I'm up for it. But I'm envious.
But by the way, I'm also always scared of people who like to be as alone as I do.
What do you mean?
I worry for them.
Like, why are
so
you
I'm like
alone?
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm gonna stay home alone. Like, I need my alone time. Mm-hmm. But like, if my oldest son, I think he's much like me. He would rather be home alone sometimes, or if he comes home, he just wants to go to his room for like an hour and hang out. And I get it, because I'm like that. Yeah. Like, but I'm always like, are you all right, man? Something wrong? And he's like, man, I just want to watch a little TV and be alone for a minute. I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. And I have to remember that I like to be like that,
Yeah.
But if somebody else does it and they're like, I just want to be alone, I'm like, are you okay? Everything all right? Did something happen? Mm-hmm. And they're like, no. I'm like, all right. God damn, I gave you that gene, man. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, and isn't it worse when you go somewhere where you think you might run into people that at least you sort of know, that you sort of recognize, like, oh, that's so-and-so's friend. Like,
well, yeah, because the one thing, they see you as alone and they feel bad for you, which is really what I was kind of getting at. Even though I kind of just want to sit at this bar, have a couple draft beers and watch the Michigan game alone.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But now you feel bad for me, which makes me think, I'm not... Should I feel bad for me? Because I didn't feel bad for me when I pulled in here. Yes. But now you're looking at me and I'm at the pumpkin patch with 2 pumpkins drinking a cider and you're like, oh my God. Oh, he must not have his kids today.
Right.
He's so sad. I'm like, oh, I'm good. It's all right.
And they don't even say anything to you at the time. You just find out later.
They might just walk by like, I don't want to talk about it.
Lazlo, Sally said that she saw you at the pumpkin patch this weekend all by yourself. Did you go there alone?
Mm-hmm.
I know you didn't have the boys. I told her you probably had someone with you. No. I was there alone. Just wanted to enjoy the weather. Yeah, I think I'd feel more comfortable, not that I'd feel comfortable, but more comfortable with the idea of going to like Disney alone, because I'm not going to see anyone there that I know, as opposed to like going to a show or something in town where I might run into people that I know. Because of exactly what you said. Now they feel sorry for me for some reason, and it's like when you trip and fall.
And it depends
someone
on what you're going to do. I wouldn't want to go, somebody said, how about a cruise? I wouldn't want to go on a cruise alone because I can't get off of it. So if I do find myself the fourth day in really sad and lonely, there's nothing I can do about it. But I would fly to Vegas alone.
Yeah.
I got no problems. I mean, yes, vacationing I could do alone, but there are places that you can go alone and places you can't go alone. I could go to the beach alone. I probably wouldn't go on a cruise alone. I wouldn't go see the Grand Canyon alone. I know people would probably do that, but that seems like something we should talk about. Maybe just because I'm not even that interested in it. So if I were to go, it'd have to be because somebody else is really interested in it.
Which one's the Grand Canyon?
Oh, it's a big hole in the desert.
That's the hole. Which one? Oh, Mount Rushmore's the one with the presidents?
I can't imagine.
I always get those two confused.
I would stop at that if I was driving by it.
The Rushmore?
Yeah, I'd be like, really? They drew presidents in a mountain. It's really weird. I don't even know if I would pull over to see the Grand Canyon.
Well, yeah, but also you fly over the Grand Canyon every time you go to Vegas. So you're like, oh, great.
Yeah.
There it is. Wonderful view.
But I probably would pull over by myself to see. Now, if I was with somebody, I would pull over and see the Grand Canyon. Maybe you go do that, right? Hike it, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but by myself, it might be like this exit to the Grand Canyon. I'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Seems like a thing you do with your family or a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever.
Yes, a lot of
So there are things like that I think you can do, but
a lot of the list said that you should go do the tours
and maybe I'd go
tours alone.
Maybe I'd see the president's thing because then I could look down on people.
Rushmore?
Yeah, maybe I'd pull over and get off on that because as I got out with my coffee or whatever and was like, cool, president's face is on a mountain, and then looked it around at all the people and went, man, this is your vacation. I just happened to be driving by. That's horrible. Sorry about that. Your parents are real dicks.
I've always heard that's the biggest letdown. You see those lists of, what's the most disappointing landmark or tourist destination that is almost always at the top of the list. Have you seen a snow cone?
Rushmore? No.
But you did hike the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
No, but you did it with family. That
With
sounds
family.
like I would take the boys there and do it. It'd be fun.
It was awesome.
I'm just saying, me as myself, I feel like I'd go out there and be like, because I know who I am, I'd be like, big hole in the desert.
Yeah.
All right, man, I gotta roll.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't, for me personally, wouldn't be fun. It sounds like something that would be fun if other people were there and you kind of explored it together as a group.
It also depends. If you go and just stand there and look at it, that'll be cool for
A second.
a few minutes.
Like Lookout Mountain in
Right.
Tennessee. I've done that. Like you pull over and you're like, man, that is some view.
Right. But when you hike down and you camp at
and
the
I
bottom,
always think, should I have a cigarette here and look at it? Or just get back in my car and go? You know what? I'm at Lookout Mountain. I'll have a smoke and just, I don't know, think about the world in a bigger picture.
Yeah.
I guess what other people do, like I'm so small and insignificant and blah, 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 I don't ever really feel like that. So that kind of stuff I feel like needs to be done with somebody else. I wouldn't camp alone. That sounds lonely.
Yeah, that's a good one. Going camping on your own. I wouldn't do that. That's also kind of
camping or
creepy.
glamping.
Like camping, like taking a tent with you
Yeah, but
and going out in
glamping
the
I may
woods.
do alone. Like getting a cabin in the woods.
That also sounds lonely. I don't really like the idea of that anyway, but even if we all went as friends, then you're supposed to play board games and stuff, which
No, but if you go
doesn't sound like fun,
alone
but going
to a
alone.
cabin in the woods, that sounds all right.
I have a buddy who takes like a really good friend of mine once a year, grabs his camping gear and heads off into the Smoky Mountains and pitches a tent and smokes some weed and reads
I
books
think it'll be all right.
and
I think it'll be all right. But I
just
also
stay
don't
up there
like
for
camping.
4 days and just be like, man, I just, have to get away from everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I think I could do
And he's
that.
like, you want to come? I'm like, no.
Yeah, maybe that doesn't sound as bad as going to Disney World. I don't know. I'm watching these videos on my friend's Instagram story at Disney alone. I'm thinking, I I think she's having a lot of fun. We're talking. She's saying, this is awesome. I'm alone right now. My family's gone. I got the place to myself. The storm has scared everyone away. And I'm thinking, yeah, it does look awesome. You're at Star Wars Park or whatever, and there's nobody there.
Yeah, I could do that.
But are you bummed at all?
But I don't see why.
Only because I'd be worried that other people look at me and think, oh, he's been alone.
She has, if nothing else, she has the truth behind her.
Yeah.
The truth is her family was just here, and she got a couple extra days because her flight got delayed, so she's going to go check it out.
Yeah.
So that's even more empowering than, like, I flew here by myself.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So it's even easier.
Yeah, a huge part of it is the stigma of what other people are thinking.
And I can also see going to make myself sad, too.
Purposefully trying to, like,
a little bit.
Swingers, you want to feel that pain again? Trying to find
I think you could go, I just think about it. Well, no, but I think you could go like, Snow Cone, you'll be able to relate to this a little bit, and you'll have to relate to it on a different level, like with your parents maybe, right?
Okay.
But say you take Bomb Pop to Disney World like 2 or 3 times, right?
Yeah.
And then as you get to be an older man, maybe you have a reason to be in Orlando,
Sure.
and Bomb Pop can't come meet you, and you get a ticket. I think there could be like some sad nostalgia where you walk around and be like, man, those are the greatest days of my life. I do that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, oh, man, I remember when I took the boys here. I'm going to, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to go relive that for a minute. And while it would be incredibly sad
It'd be really
that you're
sad.
not doing anything anymore, it would be therapeutic, and I can do those sad things. I can do them on purpose.
You'd find those places, or those memories you have, whether it's at, like, maybe it was this cafe or maybe it was this line, and you just stand there and look at it and be like, I remember specifically right there with my son. Like,
Yeah. Maybe you could do that with your parents or something.
You mean going to places where I used to go with my folks or whatever? Yeah.
And just kind of think about it.
Maybe you're masturbating in a car or something.
Sure. I'll get in the back seat and masturbate in the old church parking lot.
Of an old Ford Fairlane and jack off like a man.
Mercury Sable. Watch your mouth.
This is the Church of Lazlo. On 95 of us.
Flashing with paparazzi. Involved in an incident.
These infected monkeys.
This is Headlines on the Church of Lazlo.
Yo, Hotshot.
Yo.
Hit me with that news and information.
I really don't understand the hurricane.
What do you mean
Because
you
I
don't
feel like
understand it?
last week we were talking about the hurricane, and I thought I was saying hurricanes are headed our way. And, it was headed towards Puerto Rico, and then it was going to hit Florida potentially.
Yeah.
I guess I thought all of that would happen over the course of a couple of days. Now it's Wednesday, and still the top story is Dorian, but it did stall. We talked about that. It can sit there and
So where is it now?
spin its wheels. So now it's slowly moving its way up the coast, Georgia and the Carolinas. Did you see Trump on TV earlier? He explained it, I thought, pretty succinctly, and gave us a good update.
Update on the hurricane. We got lucky in Florida, very, very lucky indeed. We had actually, our original chart was that it was going to be hitting directly, and that would have affected a lot of other states. But that was the original chart, and you see it was going to hit not only Florida but Georgia. It could have was going toward the Gulf. That was what was originally projected, and it took a right turn. And ultimately, hopefully, we're going to be lucky. It depends on what happens with South Carolina, North Carolina.
Okay,
Okay,
so
good.
there you go. You feel like you're up to speed now? What's going
Yeah,
on?
it was headed towards the Gulf, and it took a right turn.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be lucky now.
Hopefully we'll be okay. But we did get lucky with Florida,
Yeah.
right?
Now we're just worried about South Carolina, North Carolina.
Dodge
Yeah,
the
I think you got it.
I saw a headline about people are pissed at Instagram and I guess just social media influencers using Dorian. People got pissed at them for the Chernobyl thing. Remember when all that happened after that HBO miniseries? A bunch of people started flying to Chernobyl to take pictures, and people are saying, oh, this is in poor taste. People lost their lives. These girls are taking pictures in bikinis outside of Chernobyl, and it didn't really bother me, but I have never lost a loved one to radioactive fallout. Yeah, so I don't know what that must feel like, nor have I lived through a hurricane. But I saw this headline about
So only
people
I
taking
can go.
bikinis.
Because
Yes.
I lived through a hurricane, so I can go?
Well, you're allowed to give your opinion. How do you feel about this? Like this Fox News headline says,
I think it's fine.
bikini pics and Hurricane Dorian posts?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Instagram influencers criticized for tone-deaf self-promotion. And then it just shows pictures of,
It's fine.
girls at the beach.
That's fine.
Before and during the hurricane. Your home state of Michigan
Yes.
made big news this morning.
Of
when
course it
they announced
did.
that they are banning All flavored e-cigs.
Gotta
it's over.
make you
it's
scared,
done.
doesn't it?
Well, it's a 6-month ban, but they're going to try and make it permanent.
Michigan will become the first state to ban flavored e-cigarettes. Governor Gretchen Whitmer stressed that this is a public health emergency and that our number one priority is keeping our kids safe and protecting the health of the people of Michigan. A temporary ban will last 6 months until it can be renewed, and it applies to vaping products that use sweet, fruity, mint, and menthol flavors.
Snowcone, if I'd asked you a couple years ago, if I said one of these two things is going to start to get banned in 2019, is it Kratom or is it e-cigs?
I'd say Kratom.
You would have thought that Kratom would have been first to go, right?
They're already trying to for a while.
Right, but it just keeps, we just still have it.
And once a month, you always tell me, like, man, it's going down.
They tried to do the federal ban a couple years ago where it was going to be at the end of September.
I keep telling you.
But the e-cig thing is moving fast. Everyone hates Juul. And they said that, it's all flavored nicotine liquids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They also count menthol, which I thought was weird because tobacco companies have not been allowed to make flavored cigarettes for a long time. But menthol was not considered a flavor. It was menthol,
right?
And so it was a different type of cigarette.
I remember those Camels they had a few years ago, right?
It tasted like fruit.
The cocktail cigarettes, like those Izmir Stingers. Remember those?
So there were rules. There were loopholes for the flavored cigarettes, and you can look this up. But I know at some point I read something about cigarettes that were rolled. I think if they were considered cigars, so that if there was a company that was selling little cigarettes that were rolled in like tobacco leaves.
Right.
It looked like a little mini cigar, and they were flavored. And people were pissed about that, saying, hey, these people are using this loophole to sell flavored cigarettes to kids, which I think they may have eventually found a way to ban those as well.
Well, they did, and Camel made those. You're right. They made like
it wasn't long ago.
pineapple
they had
cigarette.
The Crema ones, the Izmir Stingers with a jam. There was a few different ones. They had the little tins.
Yeah,
came in,
and they made them get rid of them.
And that wasn't long ago, though.
No,
you
10
used to
years
be able
ago?
to go to the tobacco store and they would have like European cigarettes that they'd import. And I remember there were ones that tasted like Sprite. Yeah, there were citrus flavored ones and stuff. They were all imported, though. But I remember that you could still get those at tobacco
Camels,
shops 10, 20 years ago. I didn't know that Camel did that. Maybe I do, and I just don't remember it now. But if Michigan has already said we're banning all flavored liquids, nicotine liquids, then it's coming. It's over, right? It's over. And what happens to Juul, Blue, Enjoy, all these big companies with these pod devices? What happens once they get rid of the flavors? I mean, I think they'll still exist, and so they're all going to have to like consolidate into one thing, because what's the number going to be when they're just down to Virginia tobacco as their flavor? How many people are going to still want to use it?
People love the mango, I guess, huh?
They love the mango, the berry. They just love the flavors. Yeah. Especially young people. I feel like a lot of people do. The adults that I know who use it, they all use flavors. You use flavors, don't you?
Yeah, my girlfriend loves Virginia tobacco. That's her favorite.
So she won't be affected by this. She's
the only person I know that likes it.
She won't be affected by this.
That's what I would do, too.
Yeah. They've never gotten tobacco flavor down. They've never gotten it right.
Yeah, they try too hard or something.
There's
I don't know what
different.
it is.
Tobacco flavor is never quite right.
I think it's also
the
because
other ones taste exactly like a mango?
No, I think it's because the Virginia tobacco is almost too close. It's like a cold cigarette because you've smoked so many real cigarettes in your life. I think they've got the flavor pretty close, and that's the problem, is that it's weird. My brother, he's a grown-ass man. He smokes all the flavors. I see his, because he works, he's on the road for his job, and I see his liquids. It's all flavored stuff. He won't touch the regular Virginia tobacco stuff, hates it. My girlfriend's mom, she doesn't like the tobacco flavored stuff. She likes the flavored ones. So I just feel like there's a lot of people, not
what
just
kind of
kids
flavor are you having there right now?
Mango. This is mango. Yeah, it's going to be worth a lot of money here pretty soon. I should start shipping these things to Michigan.
Cameron James Pettit, a 28-year-old man who has been charged in connection with the death of Mac Miller.
Mac Miller.
Drug dealer?
Per the complaint, Pettit allegedly gave Miller oxycodone pills, which were counterfeit and which contained traces of fentanyl. Miller's autopsy revealed that he died due to a combination of fentanyl, cocaine, and alcohol. The complaint also reveals excerpts of Pettit's Instagram messages with friends following Miller's death. One such direct message reads, I think I should probably not post anything just to be smart.
When did he die?
And another message reads, I am not great. Most likely I will die in jail.
That's the guy who...
That's the guy who's likely to die in jail now.
Okay. Well, I really...
And another section of the court papers, there are transcripts of a conversation Pettit allegedly had with a friend over Instagram DM on September 11th, 4 days after Miller's death. Nothing has happened yet, but it might. Later on in that same conversation, Pettit wrote, I'm going to get off the grid, move to another country. Pettit seems to have since deleted his original Instagram and created a new handle. What's more, his alleged associate, Mia Johansson, still has a public Instagram with photos of Pettit. So there you go. He sold him drugs, and then he died because he took the drugs, and now he's going to die in jail because he sold him drugs that he took. It's a really weird thing.
It is a weird thing. And it's weird that young
because
people
drugs
still message on there knowing that they're facing legal trouble. Like, that seems like something that a person who didn't grow up with the phone in their pocket or know the risks of, everything being tracked, that you would say, look, man, you don't talk to me on an Instagram DM. What are you doing? You would just expect a young person to do better. Use something like what our former governor of Missouri used. What was that thing called? Confide. Something like that. DMing people on Facebook doesn't seem like the smart
That's
way
an
to go.
interesting thing, and we won't have to spend too much time on it, but it's an interesting concept and something that I've brought up as a parallel before. That if you use drugs as a gun, use that same reference, right, because it killed someone, is the drug dealer responsible?
I guess they'd say because the drugs are illegal. So
and because
sell them anyway.
He's not guilty of murder because the other person took them themselves.
Yeah, and he didn't tell him to take it
and he took them himself. He didn't force him to do it.
If you forced him to take it, so you should only be in trouble for the punishment
selling
should be the
drugs.
same as it would be if the person hadn't died or if they'd never used the drugs at all.
Exactly.
What's the punishment for selling these narcotics?
Right.
How much trouble do you get in? And what the person ended up doing with those drugs, I don't think that should affect your sentence. People aren't going to like that, but isn't that how it should be?
I think so.
It should just be the same punishment. And I know it probably varies by state.
Yeah, because I don't want people who are drug dealers, again, to be going to prison for life because somebody mishandled the amount of drugs that they took. That seems like we're back in the same situation as we were when we were sending people to lifetime sentences for selling an abundance of cocaine to somebody else. It seems like that whole lifetime mandatory sentence didn't really work. So, anyway.
I never liked when people...
Mac Miller, dead at age, 27?
Oh, he was pretty young.
No, he was 26. He wasn't quite 27 club yet.
Oh, I thought he was even younger than that. He's the one who Ariana says she does like, right? Mm-hmm. Like she says the nice things about now.
Time and that she really loved him, yeah.
I didn't want to talk about this story, and I know Lazlo doesn't want to talk about it, I'm sure, because it didn't happen in the United States, but it's just let them eat cake, Lazlo. This story's everywhere. The vegan woman who sued her neighbor because they're cooking barbecue too close to the house. We avoided it yesterday, but I read a little bit more about this last night, and it's not as simple as she's suing the neighbors because it smells like meat in her yard.
They've put it so you smell fish. All I smell is fish. I can't enjoy my backyard. I can't go out there. It's deliberate. That's what I said to the court. It's deliberate. Exactly what I've wanted from the word go is to live my life in peace and to get on with my life.
Okay, so this woman says not only did she sue for them cooking meat, which she thinks they're doing purposefully to annoy her. She was upset that the kids make a lot of noise when they play basketball or something in the backyard. Some game that they're playing in the backyard. I think it was basketball or soccer or something, making too much noise. And that the neighbors smoke cigarettes out back and all the cigarette smoke wafts into her garden or her yard.
Shut up.
So she's annoyed by that. And this has been turned down, rejected by at least 2 different courts already. So if you're worried that, this guy's going to get in trouble because he's barbecuing next door and what does the world come to?
Basketball.
No, she keeps trying to appeal this to higher courts, and now she's appealing to like the Supreme Court of Western Australia or something. It's not a real thing. Maybe it will be. Maybe eventually someone will hear the case and say, yeah, you can't do that. Also, this guy said, all right, I'm going to have the kids be quieter when they're out back. They won't play basketball or whatever it was that they were playing that was being so noisy, and I'll be mindful of my cigarette smoke. He's already said, like, I've stopped doing it. Just leave me alone. Doesn't seem like that he's doing it on purpose.
I would not do that.
What? Stop doing it?
If you don't want to live next to kids, and buy a house in a retirement community or buy one with more property around it so you don't have to hear kids.
Yeah, and that's not a right that you have necessarily
Right,
to
of
just
course.
avoid noise, all noise.
Right.
I'm with you. If you can afford, or if you're old enough to live in a retirement community, there's probably a good chance you won't have to worry about kids as often. But I don't know how I feel about where do you draw the line? I get it. If the person is deliberately doing something to annoy you, like throwing stink bombs in the air or something, okay, that's different. But a person grilling in their yard, I think we can all agree that that's legal. It's a normal thing to do in your backyard. That this woman doesn't have a case. I didn't know that this was happening. I thought this had already happened. The Chick-fil-A thing at KU, how long has this been going on? I swear we already talked about this. Chick-fil-A had a restaurant in the basement. I don't know, you went to KU, Snow Cone. They had a Chick-fil-A in the basement. Well, you're a big KU guy. You know more about the campus than I do.
I didn't go there.
I'll just say that you did.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I went
they
there.
had a Chick-fil-A in
My
the
alma mater you're talking about?
in the basement somewhere. That's
sure.
been there for like 15 years.
Yeah, we used to go there every Wednesday, me and my classmates, and we'd have a little...
Your classmates.
We'd have
We had first grade to first grade.
my
at KU.
classmates, people that I went to
Teacher
AP
gave us a hall
English
pass.
with, and we...
With my classmates.
we go down there on Wednesday, have study
We
nights.
took a field trip.
Yeah, Johnny would get the Chick-fil-A sandwich. Susie always got the nuggets, but no, it was good times.
I guess they
My
moved
classmates.
Yeah, people that I had
Classes with.
AP biology.
They moved the Chick-fil-A.
1.
Is it Chick-fil-A? What's the A doing in there?
Chick-fil-A.
Is it? Oh, it's Chick-fil-A, right?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Yeah, this thing says
I don't
Chick-fil-A.
even know how
I'm
to
like,
say Chick-fil-A.
I always say Chick-fil-A, but this one thing said Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, is there an A there? But they meant to put it at the end. I get it. But so they moved the Chick-fil-A
What are you
upstairs.
talking about?
This sentence said Chick-A.
Okay.
And I'm like, Chick-fil-A? They had two A's that didn't need to be there. So they moved the restaurant upstairs, which I guess into the main food court. That bothered some people because they don't like Chick-fil-A and their politics. And then also the school worked out some sort of deal where Chick-fil-A sponsors the coin toss at football games, and that's a deal that's been inked for at least the next few years. So people are upset. They're saying that makes marginalized groups, especially people under the LGBTQ umbrella, feel uncomfortable, and that they should sever their ties with Chick-fil-A.
As people wait for hot chicken, some are offended.
And most companies don't make their views quite as obvious.
Over the summer, Chick-fil-A moved its restaurant from a dining hall at Westco across campus to the Kansas Union. The university also signed a new multi-year contract for the Chick-fil-A coin toss, featured at every home football game.
And if some people are made uncomfortable by it, then maybe it's not the best decision.
I personally do not agree with them, but I do think it is a good financial decision for the campus.
So you know that the conservatives are having a...
I watched the KU football game. They
have
had like Crane's chicken on their headphones.
Oh, really?
Or Canes? It must be
Canes, yeah,
Canes,
I know that. Is it Raisin Canes?
I know it was C-A, yeah. I
Raisin
couldn't really
Cane's.
read it, but it was a chicken place. They had like chicken at KU. They have a Chick-fil-A coin toss and all the headsets.
Oh, sure.
Have a Canes chicken or something.
We've had Raisin Canes.
Cane's?
It's all chicken. Well, they may have other things, but it's supposed to be
There's like
basically
4
all
menu
chicken when you go
items.
in there.
One down in Westport.
Yeah. We brought it in here before.
I've had it. I just didn't know exactly
okay.
because I don't know what the logo was. I'm saying I may have gotten it wrong.
Well, it looks like this because the raisin is small.
That's what they have. Okay,
Raisin
yeah,
Cane's.
that's what they have.
But so, okay, how do you feel about this? Because like I said, obviously Fox
I think
News is
KU
using
loves
this as-
chicken.
But how do you feel about the people who are upset saying that it's too much corporate tie-in with Chick-fil-A, which they give money to traditionally, whatever the donation was? What's the group that they gave money to? The people that were against gay adoption?
yeah,
I don't remember the name of the group now. It's still the same thing, the original protests. They're all stemmed from. So how do you feel about this? Do you think there's any merit to people saying we shouldn't have this as a corporate partner?
Sure.
Okay. Snow Cone?
I'm not saying the university has to get rid of it, but they can say it.
Right.
Sure.
But you do draw the line somewhere between, hey, sometimes you're just not going to like things, and hey, that's discriminatory, and you're supporting someone who's discriminatory. I don't know where that line is. I just don't really want to have an opinion on this. I understand when they start saying, look, no, they give money to this organization, they think, and perhaps fairly so, or rightfully so, think that this group is anti-LGBTQ. So if we're doing business with them, then we're helping them. And okay, I get that logic. But then you start
But
to
just
wonder
don't go to the Chick-fil-A on campus.
Right.
You can make your opinions heard. Just don't go. And if enough of your classmates, as Snowcomb will call them, If they go, then you got really no leg to stand on. Right?
Yeah, and I get so tired of seeing the, liberal snowflakes on college campuses can't handle seeing a Chick-fil-A sign. It triggers them. I'm like, okay, it's not quite that simple, but it's one of those things I just wish we could figure out a better way to protest or whatever without giving Fox News ammunition to say, oh, these kids' feelings are hurt. They don't even want to go on campus because they're going to be triggered. Well, I don't think that's what they're saying. I think they're saying that we've got a lot of corporate tie-ins now with this restaurant, and why does it have to be that restaurant? The restaurant with that stigma. I don't want to have an opinion. A girl decides she's going to surprise her mom.
I like Cane's better anyway.
Raising Cane's?
Yeah.
What's the other one? What's one in Independence? I like that one with the bird on the logo. What is that?
Chicken.
Oh, what is that called?
Chicken Littles, Screaming Chicken.
Is it Chicken Littles? Chicken?
No, it's damn it.
Go. No, it's not Go Chicken. Go Chicken.
Screaming Chicken. The Screaming Chicken. The big chicken.
Slim Pickens?
Slim Pickens.
Is it
Slim Chickens?
Slim Chickens.
Slim Chickens. I like Slim Chickens, yeah.
We got it, boys. We got it.
Have you guys had that?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, man. That is good. That is really good.
Slim
Nothing against
Chickens,
Raising Cane's. I like that, too. I hadn't been to a Slim Chickens until not that long ago. A girl decides she's going to surprise her mom. She's going to come home from college and not tell her mom that she's coming home and surprise her.
Yay!
Surprise!
Unfortunately, her mom's having sex with her boyfriend.
No, unfortunately,
because I watched that video last night.
Unfortunately, her mom is surprised.
And one day they're going to shout that to me from the heavens.
Now, unfortunately, her mom was surprised, and so she shoots her because she wasn't expecting to see anyone. You should call first.
An unusual investigation in Girard after a mother accidentally shoots her own daughter Friday night.
My girlfriend just came home from college, and her mom didn't know, and honestly, she accidentally shot her, and we don't know what to do.
Okay, the girl is 18 years old. She obviously was trying to surprise her mom, so didn't tell her she's coming home. Her mom pulls out a .38. She's startled, thinks that someone is trying to get into the house. She shoots her. Luckily, it looks like she shot her in the arm because when police and firefighters showed up, she had like a bandage wrapped around her bicep and was holding onto her arm. So hopefully she's okay. But look, if your parents have a bunch of guns in the house, probably best to, or even a gun, probably best to let them know that you're going to be stopping by.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what else to tell you.
An itchy trigger finger. You should be in a lot of trouble.
For shooting someone on your property?
Yes.
Yeah, but what do you do? If you say it's legal to shoot someone that comes on your property, it's legal to own the gun, and now you say, well, I didn't know that it was her. She surprised me. She's admitting that she was trying to surprise me.
There has to be I'm just saying, there has to be some sort of law that says, you just can't shoot anybody. You can't shoot the postman.
Right, you can't shoot the postman. I think that's...
Right, so whatever law that falls under,
upon. Yeah.
Can't shoot your kid because they surprised you. They came home from work early.
So the cops say that she was in her own house. She was startled by noises that she heard in the kitchen or the hallway area. So she hears something in the house. She stated that the bedroom door was open where she was at, and she had a gun readily available. So she fired a round at someone coming through the door. So she hears the noise from the kitchen or hallway. Door to her bedroom's open. She grabs the gun, and then she sees someone come into the room, not expecting anyone in the house. She fires.
No, you should be in a lot of trouble for that.
What, though? What's the trouble that you
I don't know what it is. Unlawful discharge of a firearm? Wanton and reckless abandonment for someone's safety? I don't know what it is, but it's something. You get in trouble for that. Your 10-year-old kid comes home from school early, and you dump two in his chest. You might want to get in trouble for that. They can't be like, I was taking my normal nap. He was supposed to be at school. He came home early, and I, shot him twice.
Yeah, but say mom lives alone. And
that's what I'm saying.
Right,
that's not a thing.
It's the middle of the night, and she's not expecting anyone. So now this adult child is trying to surprise her by sneaking into the house. Now, you would hope that, like if I break into my mom's house, I don't think she's going to shoot me. I might scare the crap out of her, but I don't think she's going to shoot me. But I can totally hear the other side's argument to this, saying, well, she's home alone. That's why she has a gun, is in case someone breaks in the house. Now this person, she hears them in the hallway in the kitchen. They come through the doorway. They haven't announced who they are, so she takes a shot.
No, that's not okay. You should at least know who it is.
Well,
there has to be some sort of credible threat to your life or something.
The cop said we will collect all the facts and we will present it to a prosecutor, not to be malicious, but we have to present the facts like we would in any other case. At that point, the prosecutor will make a decision whether we will go ahead and charge or not. So
yeah, they should be charged. They're getting a lot of trouble.
Whether or not the cops are going to charge you. If you realize someone has a gun for protection and they're not expecting you, announce yourself when you enter the home, or even if you're getting up to get a drink of water in the middle of the night. I really like that. That this cop is saying, the first part I'm sort of with him. If he's saying, hey, if your mom lives alone and she keeps a gun by the nightstand, don't surprise her in the middle of the night. But I like that he's also saying, or even if you live at home and you're getting up to use the bathroom, you should let them know. Hey, Mom!
Right, exactly.
I'm getting ready to pee. You have to yell every time so that your parents don't shoot you.
The fact that this is a thing that they're like, well, no. You get in trouble, and you get in a lot of trouble.
This headline about the Michigan lottery.
And if somebody texted in the castle law, look it up. That's to protect your home. You're not protecting it.
Right, but she thought she was.
But too bad.
Right.
It doesn't say you get to protect your home from something that you think you're protecting it from. No. It's your daughter. You're not protecting it.
What if she didn't like her daughter? What if she, I don't even like my daughter. I didn't give her permission to come into the house. She's an adult, so technically I am protecting my home. There's an adult who came into my house without my permission. This Michigan couple who won the lottery and got in trouble for a string of robberies. There's a little more to it than that. Here's a picture of the couple. That's the headline, though, is that, this couple in Michigan wins the lottery, and then they get arrested for robbing a bunch of houses. But here's the thing. There's the couple, okay?
Yeah.
You can see they won this check. That's back in 2016 that they won this check. $500,000. It's a good chunk of change. Yeah. I think at the time they had said
they look like nice kids.
I don't remember which one of them bought the ticket, if it was him or her. But she had said that they were about to lose their apartment or something because they hadn't paid their rent. They were having all kinds of financial trouble. So this money came at a good time. Again, 2016. So then this year, they get in trouble for robbing some houses. And, people are saying, well, you won $500,000. You shouldn't have to be robbing people's houses. If you're in that much financial trouble and you win $500,000, I don't know what the lump sum is on that. What, 280, something like that? I have no idea what the lump sum would be. Okay. It's probably less than 300 though, right?
Okay.
Somewhere around there. You could easily blow through that, especially if you're a young couple and you don't have any money and you're not used to having money and suddenly you have $500,000 or I guess more like 300,000 even, being generous. That would go quickly.
The pair accused of breaking into people's homes in 5 different counties.
Stephanie Harvell and Mitchell Arnswall were arraigned on home invasion charges. They're due back in court September 18th. Harvell brought a winning scratch-off hot ticket from a Speedway gas station in Bay City.
Bay City. $500,000. They'd said at the time that what they were going to do was buy a house so that it would be paid for, so that they have at least one kid, maybe 2, I think they'd said. That's the goal. If you win $500,000 and you get that lump sum, let's say the lump sum is $285 or something like that. That's enough. You could buy a cheap house, right, with cash, and then you do the John Goodman thing from The Gambler. You pay cash for your house, so it's paid for. Then you buy a Toyota Camry or whatever, cash, and that way, no matter what happens in the future, you've got that. You've got that to go back on. They should have at least done that. I can totally understand blowing through the rest of the money in the last few years, but you should have at least bought the house and bought the Camry and had that ready to go. There was a story a couple years ago, which we talked about, that said if you trim your pubes, you're going to get STDs. Not you're gonna, but you're more likely to get STDs because they did this survey and asked men and women about their trimming habits. It seems like they focused on women, and they decided that if you over trim or shave, that you're more likely.
Our hypothesis is that grooming is positively related to STIs. They also added the act of shaving may create epidermal micro tears that might allow transmission of bacteria or viruses.
Okay, so that was 2 years ago when we mentioned that on the show. I remember talking about that. Well, it's not true. New follow-up. You say I never do follow-ups. Here's a follow-up. Extreme personal grooming is what they call shaving. Extreme personal grooming is not linked to an increased risk of STIs. This study looked at personal grooming habits and the STI rates among college-age women, and there is no connection. And that study was published today, so if that's something that's been on your mind and you say, I've always wanted to extremely groom, but I'm just worried about the risks involved with extreme grooming, those risks are not real.
There's nothing real anymore.
No.
There is, and if you do this, it's bad for you. Oh, now, if you do this, it's not bad for you. Too much salt in your diet is bad for you. Not enough salt in it. It's always, they just go back and forth. It's continually a different thing. I'm not saying everything, but a lot of studies end up contradicting themselves.
All right, I know this pisses people off, and we've talked about it before, but I do feel like it's fitting here. I don't understand now, knowing what we know now. I don't have kids. I'm also circumcised, by the way. Full disclosure. Why is it still legal to circumcise
It should
babies?
be illegal.
Why is that still legal?
It's
If they've
clearly genital mutilation.
Okay, we don't think that it actually helps reduce the risks of any of this. That's all been debunked.
Right.
Then how do doctors, and a lot of doctors will say, like, I don't think you should do it.
Right.
But it's your choice. Why is it
our choice?
Why is it the parents' choice?
Right, doesn't make any
I
sense.
understand when you're.
I don't think you should do
kid,
it. And it has no benefit.
Doctors
and it comes from the
recommended it.
Puritans who tried to stop kids from masturbating.
Right.
But, well, up to you. What do you mean, up to me?
Why is it up to us?
Can I cut off his pinky if I think that's interesting, as long as I do it within the first 7 days of his life?
Right. As long as he's an infant and
Right.
he'll remember it,
Right.
then that's okay. And maybe someone could explain why that's still... And I know people are passionate about this. I don't have a kid, so I haven't had to make that decision. I just don't understand why, with everything that I've read in the last few years that say, yeah, all that
not.
stuff's been debunked, and we know the history of it, and you hear about things like genital mutilation and all that, we know that it's supposed to make sex less pleasurable.
Yes.
It's more. There's also obviously increased risks of all kinds of things because you're performing an unnecessary surgery, right?
Yeah.
So why do we still do that? So maybe someone knows. Maybe someone can explain it to me. And then this final story. I don't even know what this is. Snowcone, do you know what this is? Independence Teen?
No.
Well, let's listen.
Independence Teen.
It was pouring down rain, and all of a
this
sudden
is
I
a
see
feel-good
this.
story. This is your feel-good story. I saw this on Fox 4. The police officer in Independence who was at Hy-Vee over the weekend on Noland Road there, and I think he was like on Noland Road and whatever that 40 highway. It's pouring outside. He sees this teenager. He looks like he's, I don't know, maybe 14, 15, 16, something like that. It's pouring out. He sees this teen take his coat off and put it over this little old lady's head and escort this little old lady back to her car and try and keep her covered from the rain as much as he can by lending her his jacket. So the police officer sees this. He takes a picture and he follows the kid back to his car so that he can tell his mom, hey, did you know what your son just did? So that, mom can be proud of her kid.
Teenager running across the parking lot, taking his coat off. I was just totally thrilled by it, and I couldn't let it go unnoticed.
So he followed the boy to his mom's van, where he described what her son had just done.
She teared up pretty good. It was a moment between the both of us. I mean, I teared up a little bit. I'm a parent as well, so I told her that I was very impressed with him, and he should be proud.
Okay, so after that story came out, that story went viral. People were sharing it across the country. I guess people in other countries were sharing it as well. And the police officer said, I need to find this kid now. I want to find him because I want to take him out to eat.
Okay.
Because it's such a feel-good story and everyone's so happy. Well, he did find him and he took him out and bought him dinner. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
There's your feel-good story.
That's
Did you
nice.
see the picture?
Should he
of
have
the
taken
kid?
him out?
Well, I don't know. I mean, why?
You get mad about buying Slurpees or whatever.
Well, this is, he's not in uniform or anything. He
I
just
know, I'm
offered
just
to take
curious.
him out to dinner. He didn't pull him over on the side of the road and say, hey,
I know, but he's doing it.
surprise,
I
I'm
know.
taking you to lunch.
They had to track him down.
Yeah, I'm guessing that I don't know if there's the mom there. I don't know if she contacted them and said, hey, you guys seem to be looking for my son, or if one of his
I'm
friends
just
said, hey,
curious. I
they're
think it's a
looking
great
for you.
story, but I know you don't really like police officers. So
No, I
even
don't like
when they
them.
do something nice, you kind of hate them.
That's definitely not true. I don't like it when they pull you over and say, hey, just kidding.
Yeah, you don't
here's
like them at all.
Here's a coupon for a Slurpee now on your way. You're just mad because no one else agreed with you on that. And they actually stopped it immediately because the entire country said this is ridiculous. And so they stopped it. If a cop says, this is nice, look at this picture that I took on my Facebook. If anyone knows who this kid is, I'd love to take him to dinner. And the kid says, hey, it's me. I'd love to go to dinner. Of course, that's completely different, and I'm fine with it. Would your kid take his jacket off and help some little old lady into the car in the rain? Would she do that? It's pouring out. Look at that downpour.
I think that's nice.
I feel like you would tell your kid not to do that because you don't like old people. You say, I don't like cops, which is not true. You don't like old people. You talk about flipping them off on the road.
they
You
make me
cuss at
angry.
them. Yeah, you don't give them any type of preferential treatment at all.
No, they're just old.
Yes.
They're not babies.
But they are losing the ability to navigate the world as they once did. You know, your body starts to deteriorate. Your mind starts to go a little bit
Well,
sometimes.
quit
You take care of
beeping
them.
your horn.
You hope that that society would take care of the vulnerable and the weak. And that when we're in that position, someone will help us out.
I will, but not when they're aggressive. They're aggressive old people.
But you'll flip off an old person just for being a bad driver. They don't have to flip you off first. We've talked about this. If they get too close,
No, I will not flip off an old person if they just get too close. I will flip off an old person if they beep their horn or do this. Like, I think a lot of entitled old white women do this when you're driving, like, oh, go up your ass, you old bitch. I'll give her that. I got no problems.
I saw an old guy one day. I didn't know it was an old guy. I was behind this car, and this car started driving up on the sidewalk. I think I told you guys this. I was on my way to work. I was on 75th Street. He had this little convertible. I don't know. It was like an old MG or something. And he would be in the lines, and then suddenly it started swerving. He would go up on the sidewalk. Front and rear, passenger tires on the sidewalk, and then boom, come back down. It's happened like 4 times. So I pulled up there to see what was going on. It's just an old guy. And you can tell he's overwhelmed. You know, he looks like he's shaking. He can barely see over the wheel, and he's freaking out. I don't know what to do in that situation. Do you call the cops? Because he is driving up on the sidewalk and there's kids like walking home from school and stuff.
Yes.
Are you supposed to call the cops or do you just say, I didn't see it?
You call the cops.
Oh, I did the I didn't see it thing.
Well, if he's going to kill a kid, yes, you call the
cops. There are
cops.
kids that walk, there's a high school over there and there are a lot of kids I see walking on the sidewalk. And I mean, he could have run someone off the road too, for that matter, but I don't want to be the one who calls the cop on the old guy and gets his license taken away. Now the family's got to go drive him everywhere because he lost his driver's license and it's all my fault. I don't know. You would call the cops? If you just saw that car swerving real badly and then realized it was an old person who shouldn't be behind the wheel, you'd call the cops?
I mean, you saw it more than once? Like it was...
Oh, he did it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
He drove up on the sidewalk.
So there's
and
no
came back
erratic
on the
driver
road.
over there.
It's really bad. Yeah, like I thought someone was doing it on purpose at that point. I was like, why do they keep driving up on the sidewalk? And I got there and saw he was elderly. I just pretend like I didn't see it. Snow Cone, you call the cops?
Nah.
Do they need a witness? Then I gotta...
I'm driving.
Yeah.
Look, hey, I just want to let you know there's an erratic driver on whatever street. It's over by the high school. They went up on the sidewalk like 3 or 4 times. I want to check it out. What's your name? Don't worry about me. Click.
Yeah.
You got my number. Call me back if you want it.
This lunch looks good where the cop took the teen, huh?
Yeah, it does. Where is it?
It looks like a place that's got pictures of food on the menu. That's all I know. Because it looks
it does
to
look
me
good.
Like he's having the... he's having
go.
crab legs. Look at that. The teen's eating crab legs.
Good for him.
Good for him.
I
think that is a nice story, actually.
Yeah,
I think it's nice that he bought him the food. I have no problems with this.
Yeah, me neither.
You sure?
Why would I have a problem with it?
I don't know. Sometimes you don't like the
cops.
feel-good stories. I do like cops. My uncle's a cop.
Oh, he's not.
How would you know? I mean, he's retired, but he's a cop.
No, that's not true.
Okay, so we're not
He was
blood
an
related,
alcoholic
but
diabetic.
I have multiple uncles.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I have lots of uncles.
Oh, he lived in Pennsylvania somewhere.
No. He wasn't a cop. No. He wasn't a cop.
You said he ate 2 pounds of bacon for breakfast.
That's a different uncle. That's Oklahoma. See, now you realize that
None of those are cops.
He was a firefighter. The guy who ate bacon was. He was a firefighter.
A cop.
No, but this one wasn't blood related. It's my aunt's husband or whatever. But still, he was a good cop, a damn good cop.
The Church of Lazlo. 96.5 The Buzz.
Did you see the thing, I don't remember if it came out yesterday or this morning, I think it was yesterday, about Google and Facebook and how they're tracking all your porn preferences?
I did.
Even when you're in incognito mode. So this article says that it turns out that Google, Facebook, they're tracking your porn consumption habits, and they're doing it in a big way. They're getting a hold of most of the stuff.
Will you grab my drink off my desk? I need a drink. Thanks.
They said, one thing said 93 to 94% of adult content on websites is leak sensitive, meaning that it's prone to leaks to third parties and that they get this information.
Thanks, man.
It reminded me of years and years and years ago, you said, God damn it, on the radio, and some sort of religious debate was spurred. And I don't remember why, but someone was talking about biblical stuff, and there's something in the Bible about, all of our deepest secrets will be shouted from the mountaintop.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? And we were like, okay, so what would that be? And then I thought,
horrible.
Maybe we're just doing it to ourselves. Maybe it's not that, that God or that someone at the pearly gates has a list and says, here's all your secrets, but that we really are, all that private stuff about us, we really are just handing over to other people. And that at some point, it doesn't have to be to get into heaven. It could just be that someone says, I know all this about you, and you applied to work here, and we've got your internet search history from 1998 to 2025. But I always live with the assumption that anything that I'm looking at online, someone else probably knows about, somewhere, and that you're being tracked. And I also, like you and I've said a million times, because I think you and I agree on this one, it's the school of fish thing. Like, okay, but if they only found a way to track me, if they were like, man, that particular computer you've got with that particular web browser and those hours that you were using it, they were able to somehow figure out what porn you were looking at for a week. And it's just you and 20 other people. I go, oh no! But when they say 93 to 94% of adult content.
See, I think the scary thing about the Bible being true and me, I don't know, rising up, and it would be people who don't do the same thing shouting at me. Like, you looked at that porno and you did that to that person and you did that to yourself. And you, like, well, God damn.
What do you mean?
Like, they're just shouting at me, right? All my sins.
So you're saying, like, other people, your peers are saying, I can't believe you looked at all this stuff.
Well, I think it's, no, the thing is, I think it's people shouting at you like God, that are godlike, angels or something.
Oh, okay.
And they don't have all the same sins.
I see. So, the
then
who
that's
are better.
really scary. But if I came in to apply for a job here and they're like, we saw your porn history, I'd be like, well, show me yours.
Well, yeah.
Because my thing is, like, if you're tracking me, then you're tracking everyone. And by the way, I think everyone's a deviant. So I don't think, what I'm doing may make myself uncomfortable at times. I don't think it's as it's not nearly as uncomfortable as I give everybody else credit for. I think they're all doing and looking at very deviant things. Now, they may be different, but everybody's a deviant.
On the level of weirdness, it's around the same
Right, like if
level.
you were to say, you would say, well, let me look at your porn history. And you'd be like, my God, you freak. And I'd be like, well, let me take a look at yours.
Right.
I'm like, well, I don't look at that freak show. And then boom.
So
now
you're
we're
saying
even.
if you got into you're waiting there in heaven in the waiting room,
Yeah,
or whatever.
God is like reading a list.
Okay,
I got
listen,
a real
I've got this
problem
list
with
of
that.
all your porn history, and if there's deviant stuff in there, you're not going to make it. You'd say, don't look, just send me to the other place.
Yeah.
I'm never going to pass this test, so
Right.
no need to start
And what
shouting this
I
from
don't
up
want
here.
is a punishment if people shouting all these things that I've done at me.
Well, right, that's the thing where I worry about the Bible becoming true, where some hackers and says, I've got all your stuff, and would you pay to hide all of it just from your coworkers and family members and all that? We're just going to send them a list of all the porn you've ever looked at. Would that bother
really
you?
weird.
Yeah, that'd be horrible, right? If they say, we're going to blackmail you, pay us this much money or we'll send all this stuff to embarrass you.
I would call the police.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
But
would you?
But
Snowcone's going to at least laugh.
I got nothing to hide.
Would you really?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty
Why are you
vanilla.
laughing?
I'm just laughing because I'm just thinking about what your guys' searches would be.
The weird thing is, we've already taught you've literally made a living out of going on the air and talking about all your secrets.
I just said we're all deviants.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. My porn search is
You said your porn is like, oh, daddy, you can't get any.
Right, exactly. You already know. When you see that, you're going to go,
And
he
his
joked
is, oh,
around about that
daddy,
for years.
and apparently the younger person is a grown man. So, I mean, it can't get any weirder than that.
Right,
I
so
told
why
you
would I
like
pay to hide that?
stepmom and mommy and daddy on pantyhose and high heels, and you like women with wieners, and, I mean, there's not much they could show.
Try and be a little more woke than that. I'm not trying to be the woke police, but it's not 2002. Point is, we don't have a lot of secrets when it comes to that
you like
stuff.
women with fake wieners?
Okay. Well, this whole thing, people freaking out about their porn.
He's about to give me some money.
I
Would you just shut up?
I don't know how what we're supposed to say anymore. But everyone's freaking out about seeing that. Oh well, if I left Facebook open or if I had Google open, that these third-party sites could track my porn usage. And here's the thing that scares me more than the porn history stuff. What scares me more is the idea of making a mistake that, like, people do. So you see the teachers all the time who get in front of the classroom and they open up their computer and oops, Pornhub was on. Now it's showing in the classroom. I just saw one of those this week. But I just saw a news story from Nashville, somewhere in Tennessee, where this realtor was selling this like $400,000 house. Did you see this? Mm-mm. So he's listing this $400,000 house. At least in the picture I saw, it looked like it said $399 in the background. There was like 32 photos of the house that he'd uploaded to this website, to this realtor site to show, the listing. But you go through all the pictures, and the first 31 pictures are all pictures of the house. But picture number 32 was a picture of what appears to be the realtor receiving a sexual favor from what they describe as a much younger woman. And I saw the picture, so I'll just try and describe it to you. But he is standing.
Don't describe it to me. Let me see it.
He's standing at the edge of the bed. What appears to be a much younger woman. in Dodge.
How old is he? What does that mean, much younger?
Hard to tell. They keep talking about, they mentioned 2 different times about how she's much younger than him. Okay, well, he looks like he's probably in his 40s or something, and she could
Is
be
she much younger, 25?
late
or is she
teens,
much younger,
early
18?
20s. Yeah, she looks like a porn star age.
Like
late teens,
porn
early
star
20s.
where you type in, oh, yeah, daddy, and they're like, young girl.
Yeah, like my very first porno type stuff.
You're like,
It's hard to tell because the picture's reversed.
I get it. And
It's
you're
the
like,
back
I know
of her.
she has to be of age, but they're, all right, I get it.
Right, is she of age?
she's
I guess
young.
maybe that's why they kept bringing it up. Maybe they don't know whether or not
Right.
she's of age. I just thought she looked like she's the age of, a dancer at a
Am
strip
I
club or
wrong
something.
to think if it's on Pornhub, then they're all of age?
Well, no, I hope not, because I think that's the rule most of us hope that Pornhub is following, is that there wouldn't be anyone underage.
That's what I'm saying.
on
Like,
here.
I feel so,
Yeah.
you're usually pretty safe.
So maybe these stories were pointing out the age. Maybe they were worried that it could potentially be someone younger. So there's an independent newspaper down there in Nashville. Somehow someone sent them the picture. They saw this picture of the guy receiving this sexual favor from what they called much younger woman, and he
Well, they
said,
use the word woman, so
or girl, whatever.
Gotta be
Yeah,
18.
He said, "Do not use that picture. Don't write a story about this, or I will sue you." Which I don't know how that works, but they said too bad. They covered it anyway. The listing got pulled down. It's now relisted without the picture of him, obviously, and it's got a different agent on it. But the point is, that's the thing that scares me more than the idea of here's your internet history, is you're using a personal computer for work, or anytime I go to attach something from my laptop to people at work, I'm like, all right, how do I know for sure that I'm triple checking? Did I ever save anything on here that... Is it going to somehow accidentally attach 2 things? What if I highlighted too many things? I'm really, really, really worried that I could accidentally send something embarrassing, for work from your phone or from your computer. Because you send most of your stuff, or at least we do, from our phones, right? You're at work, you get an email, you attach something, whatever. That's what scares me more.
I think there's a link, too, if you look on Pornhub that says share.
Yeah.
I'm always cognizant of that little button.
Right? Like
What if I
accidentally
just hit
hitting
share
it.
and it goes on my Facebook?
Yes. Yes.
Wow,
Just
that's
accidentally
horrible.
clicking that button. What about when you've got your phone connected to your home network or whatever, your Wi-Fi network, and you go on like porn or something, and it goes, that little Chromecast signal comes up, like on Pornhub and all those sites. Sometimes if you go to click, like, the down arrow, it's right next to that cast thing.
Right.
What if you got someone at the house, or I don't know, maybe you live with someone?
Right.
I worry about that, like accidentally hitting that
What
button that
about
launches
if you go in another room to watch porno and your phone is still connected to a Bluetooth speaker?
Oh, yeah. I've seen that play out in sitcoms and stuff before, and it doesn't seem that unreasonable.
No,
to
that
think
seems very reasonable.
that you would have your phone connected, and then hours later, you think, oh, you know what, I'm going to look a little porn. You're showing, you can't figure out why there's no volume, and by the time you figure it out, and then you don't know.
And
That's
I'm
the other
really
thing.
interested. The person's porn history that I would love to look at is snow cones. Because he makes it sound like it's so vanilla, and it's almost like there's 90% of me that believes him that it's just vanilla, and there's another 10% of me that says he does a really good job of playing off that it's just vanilla, and it is a sexual freak show. Speaking of making videos, I read a story yesterday. I'm going to get this story wrong. There's a guy. He's like 27 years old, right?
Okay.
He's in the National Guard in Nebraska.
Okay.
And he videos himself having sex with a 16-year-old girl.
Okay.
And he sends her the video on the phone, right?
Okay.
She might... I
saw this guy's mugshot.
So he sends her a video. The mom finds it and gives it to police, right?
Yeah.
But in Nebraska, the age of consent is 16.
Right.
So he's not doing anything illegal. So they go back and say, while the age of 16 is consent, she's still underage, so that's child pornography, and you sent it to her, so that is distributing child pornography over the internet, and they gave him 8 years in prison.
37-year-old man who filmed himself having legal and consensual sex with a 16-year-old girl in Nebraska, then shared the videos with her. He's guilty of distributing child pornography, a federal appeals court ruled Tuesday. Last year, this former sergeant in the National Guard pleaded guilty to a federal charge of distributing... as soon as you started down that path and you said age of consent, I thought, but he took pictures of it, and that's...
Right.
Which that's weird, too, that you can say, yeah, she's old enough for a 37. That 16 does not sound old enough for a 37-year-old
No,
to be.
of course not.
That sounds totally
And I
wrong.
get why they did it, but still, my thought is, change the law.
Yeah, change all of that.
Change the law to 18 as the age of consent, or 21, or whatever.
Yes.
But if you're going to make the age of consent 16, then she has the right to consent to have that on video.
Right. And I think
it doesn't make any sense to me. And this dude's got to go to prison for 8 years. Now, I'm not saying he's not a scumbag or a predator but apparently Nebraska decided 16 was old enough to have sex with a 37-year-old.
I think I've asked you this before, but what would the rules be if you and your girlfriend at 16 filmed a sex tape like I did with my, camcorder that I had? If I'd saved that and held on to that until we were both adults, even though it's of us,
and then sent it back to her.
No, just kept it. Would I be in possession of child pornography because at the time we filmed it, we were underage? Even though it's me? Yeah, I think you are, right?
Yeah.
So just don't film yourself. Don't take pictures
film
of
yourself
yourself
having sex.
No, just don't do it.
Because this guy, while I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong, he didn't do anything illegal.
As far as the sex goes,
right.
yeah.
But
which is weird.
filming it got him 8 years in prison. Put your camera down.
Yeah, and how do kids get in trouble? That
Do you hear
bothers
me,
me too.
Snowcone? Put your camera down.
Stop it.
The kids getting in trouble for that makes me super pissed. When two 15-year-olds exchange pictures or whatever, and then they charge the child with distributing child pornography because they sent it to their boyfriend or their girlfriend. I know some states have tried to figure out ways around that, but no. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't
Put your
do
camera down. Don't film yourself having sex.
I don't know where my tape went. Someone took
I have it.
You have it?
Yeah.
I know it was at work because I had it in that office and then it was gone. It was stolen. Someone stole my camcorder and everything.
I don't have it.
It's going to resurface one of these days. It's going to resurface. I thought it was gone. It's going to come back.
Did you really leave it here?
My camcorder got stolen here at work.
Oh.
At the old building.
Somebody's got it then.
Somebody must have it.
It's not me.
I don't know if they figured out
what was on it,
how to charge that thing. You had to hold the cable and everything. They may have thrown it away, but still. And now, look, I didn't get in trouble for child pornography, but I did film myself having sex when I was 16 or whatever, and while I was taking a shower, my friends found that in my house and watched the entire thing and didn't tell me about it for like 2 years. So they had seen me having sex at like two of my good friends, and they'd laughed about it and told everyone else, and I didn't know about this. It's super embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Horrible. So don't
Did you
film
used to
yourself.
watch it?
Huh?
When you were 16, did you watch it?
I think I tried to watch it once, and I tried to make another one. I deleted it to try and make a better one, so we tried to make a better one, but it wasn't much better, and then it got stolen, so I don't know what happened to it. I saw it once, at least, after the fact.
She wishes you'd take care of those things a little bit more.
I know, I'm sure she does. I remember at the time, she was pretty upset. She said, "Where is it?" And I told her it had been destroyed, that I burned it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
good move.
Don't film yourself.
Yeah. Put the camera down.
Yeah, when you're a kid, don't film yourself. Don't take pictures. But that's ridiculous because that's what kids do. They're going to take pictures.
Yeah,
They're going to send themselves. I know, but you got to tell your boys, like, don't do it. No matter
don't
what.
do it.
Don't do it. I don't know what age that starts now. I don't know when it starts. When do boys start?
At what age did you show them? Like, what was that movie? Red Roll, or whatever.
Oh, the documentary about the
football team in Ohio. What age do you show your kids that?
I don't know. Those boys scared me so much. They seemed so scummy.
Yeah.
And just like such bad kids that I feel like you got to start young with your kids because those kids were 18, 19 years old or something.
I think some of them were there.
Some of them were young. Oh yeah, that's right. They were in high school when the audio was taken. That's right. That was at a high school
party.
Tell
them like going in the 7th grade, make them watch this documentary.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, I want you to watch this.
Yeah, and I feel like especially if you have boys. I don't know why.
Right.
I feel like girls are smarter. Maybe they're not.
Well, I think if you want for girls, and you don't want to blame the victim ever, but you want to say, hey, people act like this, and you may be naive enough to the world to think that this doesn't happen, but it does. And I think for boys, you got to show them, be like, whatever you do, don't be this person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You want to see the picture of the realtor with the much younger? This is the only picture I could find. But see, it's really just her butt and her hair. You can't even see her face. So how would they know that she's... Do you think that they're saying that that's a kid? That girl's underage?
I just think they're saying she's younger.
That she's much younger?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, don't do that. Oops. Use a separate phone, too. If you're going to upload that stuff to work.
Just don't tape yourself having
sex. Just don't, because it's going to get out there.
Yeah.
And when that stupid movie with Cameron Diaz came out, Sex Tape... They're talking about how, I accidentally synced it and it's in the cloud and I shared it with everyone. It seemed like such a ridiculous plot at the time, which was only a few years ago. But now thinking about that, well, doesn't seem that crazy to think. Like the fact that your iPads sync with your MacBooks and all that stuff, and if you don't sign out all the way, or just don't do it. No matter what kind of vault calculator app you have those things hidden in, someone's looking at them right now.
Do you have a vault calculator app?
I used to.
Yeah.
I thought that it was
Snowcone's
safe.
like, yeah, I do.
No, I was saying he does. He just showed me the other day.
No, Hartzell did.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, mine won't work anymore. They don't update it anymore. But get this, Lazlo, on those apps, it says, like, you deleted this many things 5 years ago or whatever. Would you like to have it back? It's only
That
six.
means they have them.
Exactly. So just don't use that stuff. Don't do it. And yes, I would like to have it back. Very, very much so. It's weird how well they know us, isn't it?
The Church of Lazlo on 96.5 The Buzz.
Snowcone's been reading the
Mac Miller arrest reports?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all I've been doing.
I'm starting to freak out.
Why?
Well, you said earlier that we both agreed that whatever the crime is for the person who sells the drugs, it should be the same punishment, the same crime, regardless of how the person used the drugs or what happened with the drugs, if the person overdosed,
Yeah, right.
So he sold them to an adult, and this is the punishment for selling that
Right,
level
for selling drugs.
These many narcotics that are Schedule 1 or whatever. That's the punishment you get in. But the more that Snowcone is reading from this arrest report, and tell me where I get this wrong.
Okay.
Sounds like Mac was getting drugs at this point from two different people.
Yes.
And one of them was a girl.
But it's also the two people that he's getting them from know each other.
Okay.
And so he's talking to one guy, the guy who was arrested, right?
Okay.
Like Pettit or whatever.
Pettit, yeah. He's talking to him, and he says, like, yeah, I'll get it all arranged, and I'll come meet you at your studio, right? The drug dealer does. Then that guy stops responding, so Mac reaches out to the drug dealer's
This girl.
friend. Her name's Mia, and says, hey, he's not responding. Do you have anything? Can you send someone through or whatever? And she's a madam, and she says, yeah, I'll send over a girl with all these drugs you want, and I'll throw
Where
in.
are they?
Yeah, are they in L.A.?
They're in L.A.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a
And
place.
Man.
Southern
And
California.
she's
There's a
saying
lot
it's
to-
drugs
there's a
are
lot
like,
to do
yeah,
there.
and I'll send you a girl, and if you take the girl, I'll throw in cocaine. Like,
Yeah, so he says, I want a gram of Coke. And she
I
says,
love
I'll send you the
LA,
Coke
man.
for free if you book this girl for like 2 hours. And he says, how about 2 grams? She says, sure, deal. So he haggled with her and got 2 grams out of it.
yes.
So she sends over the girl, and it looks like a few days later is when he died. So when he's talking to her, the girl drug dealer, I think on Instagram, he says, can you send a picture of this Oxy? So she sends a picture of a blue pill with an imprint, right? When they found him dead, they found the bag of his stuff. They had found those blue pills, but it was still like the amount he had ordered. So he wanted 5. He still had 5 and he was dead. They found another blue pill that it looks like the original guy had given him
The Pettit
that
guy.
was crushed up. And so they tested them both. Hers tested like positive for, for Oxycontin.
So hers was
His-
actually the Oxy.
Hers
which
was
he-
actually Oxy. The stuff he got from him was laced with fentanyl, which is what he had crushed up and blown.
So that's what really scares me is, are they implying then that because this girl told him, hey, these blue pills are 30, I assume it's 30 milligram oxycodone. I'm just pulling that out of thin air. I have no idea.
That's
You know
exactly
nothing about it?
No, it actually was 30s. That's exactly what it
Okay.
was. Yeah.
So the blue ones are
Lucky,
30s.
Lucky guess. Little
That's
blue
a
pill,
coincidence.
V imprint. That should be a 30.
Yeah, M30s. I've seen
I don't
them.
know why I'm so dizzy and have a headache and just feel sick all the time.
So are you implying then that because the girl said, hey, these blue M30s are oxys,
Yeah.
and then the other guy sends him fentanyl that looks similar, that because the drug dealer had said this looks like oxycodone, and Mac Miller made this mistake possibly of crushing up what he thought was pure oxy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. It's that he didn't do the ones she had given him.
Right.
It's not that he could have done them both and not known. You know what I mean? It wasn't that it was just that it was bad oxy, but it was also that he didn't use the ones she had given him. Because he
used-
ordered 5 from her, and he still had 5 pills.
Got it.
And so he hadn't touched the ones she had given him. He used the ones the guy had given him.
And that's why the guy's in more trouble?
I guess so, because even if he had used the ones that
Is
the
she
girl,
in trouble for selling them to
Right,
him?
that's
I don't
what I
know.
wanna
I mean,
know.
they
Where's
name
she
her
at
a
in
lot
all
in
this?
this report, so I'm guessing she's in some trouble. But her Instagram is still open and everything, as is his.
And
so
Lazlo
I
said
don't
earlier
know.
that a lot of this correspondence was happening through like Instagram messages. Is that where they're pulling this from, or
Yeah,
is there a
it's-
way
it's
to
all-
communicate where the cops won't see it later?
These are all Instagram messages, plus they have Venmo transactions, and keep that Venmo private, bro.
Oh, yeah, but come on, it's Venmo.
You can still find
so
it,
it's
though.
private, so it doesn't say, hey, Slim Fast bought tacos from Snowcone. But if the cops go to look, they can still see that, okay, on June 17th at 11:32, it looks like Snowcone sold something to Slim Fast, and the description was just a period, and for whatever reason, Slim Fast gave Snowcone $250.
First of all, don't bring me into this. I don't sell
Okay,
you
then
any
I sold it
drugs.
to you. Either way, I feel like they can easily get all that information. I just want to know if we're learning anything from this about what the proper way is to communicate when you're, not totally above.
Encryption.
Right, encryption. Does it even work? I hope so.
I mean,
Confide?
Confide or Signal.
Yeah, and also,
If you have drugs, confide me.
Mac Miller.
Or Signal, either one.
I don't use Signal, so you have to confide
Well,
me.
you got to get them both.
I don't want it. I just have confide. Don't tell people to signal me when I don't have it.
Okay.
If they have drugs, doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Mac
Confide.
Miller's,
Confide's better anyways.
Mac Miller's estimated net worth, when I looked it up earlier, my computer crashed, but it said it was like $9 or $10 million. Isn't it crazy that even if you're worth $9 or $10 million, that you're still buying Coke a half gram, a gram at a time?
Yeah,
I don't know. I
that's
see
what I
those
was confused
movies
about.
about
Well,
people who...
with the guy's
threw it in.
messages.
Right, but he's like, how about 2 grams of Coke? I would just think if Mac Miller liked cocaine.
He's like, give me
he
an
had to-
ounce.
Like that National Lampoon's
Yeah,
movie
no,
on
that doesn't-
Netflix where
I
they
see
just
what
have
you're saying,
the
but no,
boatloads of
she's
cocaine.
like, hey, send me the drugs that I want. And then she's like, hey, if you buy a hooker from me, I'll throw in a gram of Coke. He's like, make it 2
Well,
grams.
no, because he asked for it. So when he was talking to the guy earlier, he asked for the pills and then said, "Can I get a ball too?"
Oh, okay.
So he wanted a ball of Coke. When he's talking to her later, it looks like it's 1 a.m. So maybe it just gotten late or something. But he said, "Can I get a gram of Coke?" And she said, "Yeah, if you get a girl, I'll give you the Coke for free." And then he said, "How
Got
about
it.
2?"
When you're worth as much as
But you
that,
would think,
though,
yeah, if you have that much money, you'd say, "Give me an ounce."
give me an ounce and also have someone else do this for me. You should have
Right.
someone who works for you that you say, hey, can you go get some drugs? At that level, you shouldn't be directly
Is that why you
corresponding
and
with these
Snowcone
people.
are best friends?
Yes, yes, because Snowcone. If I said, if you knew where to get something 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, and because he's got a kid now, he doesn't do that stuff anymore. But 5-6 years ago, if he knew where to find something, I could have easily said, hey, Snowcone, that sounds great. If you know anyone who's got that, and you would have said, okay, great. If you want some weed or whatever, this guy here will have it. We're going to the show tonight. I'll get it for you. Now, I would hope that at Mac Miller's level of fame, you would have like people who take care of that for you, right? I mean, Lazlo, you would expect to have someone take care of that for you.
I do now, yeah.
Exactly. In your life right now, currently. So maybe these kids also need a lesson in that. Like, I say kids, he was 26 years old, but if you're worth $9 million, don't start...
Actually happened to me the other day.
Instant-
I had someone text me and say, hey, I got something I think you might want. And I started to go through the process, and I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
Just because I started texting, I was like, I'm good.
You just imagine all of it being on the cover
Yeah.
of
I was like, you know what? I'm
BuzzFeed
good.
News.
So I started with the, oh, yeah, of course. I love that. And then the conversation started. There's a couple more texts back and forth. I was like,
Too
you know
specific?
what?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yes, and no, text line. We don't think that we're celebrities like Mac Miller and it's going to be on BuzzFeed literally. What I'm saying is you have to assume that at some point someone else could see all of these messages.
Someone.
The police.
Someone you don't want to read
Someone
these
could
messages.
die that I don't even know.
Right.
And next thing you know, they're looking at my old signal history like, hey, did you know this guy? And you're like, which guy? Oh, the guy with the multicolored hair. Yeah, I remember that guy sort of. Yeah, we need to talk to you. And then you're like, damn. So you got to be careful.
Right.
If you're worth $9 million, I like to imagine that at $9 million as a rapper, people just hand him stuff. That he has like that box of, here's some Coke, here's some pills, whatever he's into, like in the 70s and 80s. What was that National Lampoon's movie on Netflix a couple years ago about back in the late 70s and early 80s, they showed Chevy Chase and all of them at those parties, and they just have like giant safes filled with cocaine. They were scooping it out and putting it on paper plates. Do you remember that? I thought that's probably what it's like to be rich if you have a drug problem. You just get it. I never imagined that Mac Miller was staying up late at night texting people going, come on, please. Does anybody have anything? And then finally some girl's like, yeah, and he's got to do the same Tuesday night ritual that we do?
I mean,
where you're begging
like
someone?
he ended up paying her. It was like $3,300. So it's a fairly
It's a good amount of
substantial
money,
amount.
yeah.
But it was for like 8 different kinds of pills, Coke, escort.
And the fact that she said, if you hire this girl, I'll just throw the drugs in.
Mm-hmm.
That's next level. That is next level. But still, I was a little disappointed that he himself has to direct message people on Instagram late at night to get drugs. So it just seems like someone, his manager, Lazlo, you're in the industry. You know lots of music
I think
managers.
You
I would
still
assume
have to have someone that goes to get your drugs. The guy's clearly got someone.
Yeah.
Not only does he have someone, he has someone that can send over a girl right away. He's got a connection. Yeah, but his connection just happened to kill him.
If you were his manager, you would say, hey, don't be messaging these people directly. We got someone to do that for you. And you tell someone like, hey, Steve, whatever your name is, your job is to make sure Mac doesn't get his hands dirty in any of this. Just get the stuff for him. You do the messaging. You do all that. If someone gets
Make
pinched,
sure
it's
he
going
has
to be
pills
you.
in the house.
Yes. That's bad management.
Probably a bad.
That's bad management. It is. And you should be checking to see what he's getting. Hey, who brought these blue pills over? You guys, everyone knows Mac thinks that the blue M30s are oxys. What are these other blue pills that look too much like the M30s? Are these fentanyl? I swear to God, I will kill whoever brought this fentanyl into this house.
I'm going to make you snort them all.
Exactly. That should be your job as a manager.
Through your asshole.
Yes. Oh, that'll kill you quick. Real quick.
The Church of Lazlo on 96.5 The Buzz.
All right, I got to go.
Oh,
Baseball
what's
practice.
tonight? Let me look at the board. Wednesday, baseball practice.
Baseball
okay,
practice,
Lazlo's got baseball. So you're not going to come to the show tonight?
No, I got baseball practice.
Snow Cone, are you coming to the show tonight?
Yeah.
You said you had tickets for the show
I have
tonight
tickets
for
for
me.
us. Yeah.
You have tickets for
We're getting them
Brooke and I.
down there, yeah.
Okay. When we
Growlers
get
and
there,
Broncho.
We're gonna,
Growlers and Broncho.
Growlers and Broncho at
Yes.
Crossroads. You have the tickets.
They're at
It's
the box
taken care
office.
of.
I'm picking them up.
Okay.
We're good. We're good.
Worst case scenario.
I mean, the show was rescheduled, but we should still
That's
be...
kind of what I was worried about. This was a rain-delayed show, so did you need to check? Is that list still the same list?
Yeah, it'll be the
We
same
call
list.
ahead. Worst case scenario, we buy them. It'll be worth it. Lazlo, have fun at
baseball
practice. All right?
See ya.
Love you guys. See ya.
The Church of Lazlo. 96.5 The Buzz.